Today, I'm going to talk about a subject that some find to be controversial. And that subject is to till or not to till. That is the question. There are some that think that you should never till under any circumstances. Should you till? It's almost like it's a religion to them or something. And to them, anytime somebody says the word, it's like they're using profanity when they say that word. And then the other side is there are people who just want to till with absolutely no regard to the life in the soil. All right. Plowing, tilling, working the soil, it's been a part of our history for a very, very, very long time, like thousands of years or so, like way back to close to the very beginning of human history. It was even mentioned as part of the curse on Adam and Eve that by the sweat of your brow you'll work the land. And even Cain was said to be a tiller of the ground. And there's many, many biblical references to tilling and working the soil. Doing a good job there. Now, as human beings, we tend to go from one extreme to the other extreme, from one ditch to another ditch, with most subjects. But overall, balance is key. It helps us to stay stable-minded pretty much with everything. All right, let's see here. Over the years, I've been blessed with mentors and had the opportunity to rub shoulders with some pretty amazing people that have helped me out in a number of areas in my life, from my faith to my family and even homesteading and gardening. And people like Curtis Stone and Ray Tyler were very instrumental in helping me learn how to have a productive and successful market garden. And from them, as well as others, I have learned how to have the balance of when to till and not to till. And during some of the on-the-farm, hands-on workshops that I attended with them, they showed how to properly use tools like broad forks, theropod, and others, but they also taught me how to use equipment like a BCS walk-behind tiller. Now, with a piece of equipment like that and the implements that you're gonna need, it's gonna cost about $10,000. I don't know about you, but that has not been in my budget. So early on, when I got some of my garden spaces ready, I got some help. But in low till circumstances, like this one right here, I'll use tarping and broad fork. But how do you know when you can use no till and when to till? I've been gardening now for like 15 plus years, And during this time, I've experimented with a lot of different methods and a lot of different forms of gardening. From double dig, and let me tell you, it's a lot of work, to raised bed gardening, to no-till, to low-till, to back to Eden gardening, and so many others. And from these experiences, I've learned to not be overly dogmatic about one particular or any particular method. That for different situations, different methods can apply. And when I have tilled, I've either borrowed or rented a tiller, or I have mostly used a broad fork and my mini cultivator. But this year I've decided to do something different. It's time to level up and get my own. Tiller for our garden. Oh, okay. Yep, got two different ones. Small one, this is big. Get out of there. Let's see that. All right, look here again. Ooh, buddy. Heard it. Just heard it. And that color is beautiful. Just beautiful. Now, this ain't your grandma's tiller. This beast has 15-inch steel wheels, counter-rotating tines, and a 22-inch tilling whip. I'm gonna need a hand getting this out. Hey, sailor! That's right, 22 inches of soil prepping strength.
Alright. Alright. Down. You okay? So when I lift here, put it on just like that. Ready? Yep. There we go. Yeah. There, you can put the other one on.
And there she is, the 224cc champion tiller. Ho, 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 ho. Tidy the cords up with this. And with this beast almost ready for action, we added oil, which was included, and gassed this baby up. Now, King Solomon may have had his royal gardens plowed with fine oxen, but I got 224 cc's of raw, growl-worthy champion power. And that's probably more than 2 oxen. It's gotta be like 24 horsepower on caffeine. And what reasons why I chose this Champion tiller is because I've had a Champion hydraulic log splitter now for a couple of years, and I have absolutely loved it. And I'm like, if you could take that same power and apply it to a tiller, I'm all in. But just because I got this bad boy now doesn't mean that I'm going to till in every circumstance. No, there are times when you don't need to till or you shouldn't till. Like when the soil is wet, you don't want to do that because that can really totally mess up your soil structure. And I also don't like to till time after time after time, or crop after crop after crop. And in areas that already have a no-till system in place that has loose soil with rich organic matter, there's definitely no need to till that on a regular basis either. Or if you have piles of rich compost that you can just spread on top of the areas that you want to garden, or extra money just laying around that you can just go buy all that, there's no need to till either. But there are times that tilling can be beneficial, and having a tiller can really be a powerful tool when used strategically in your garden. And here are 5 scenarios in which tilling makes sense and how I plan to use this new Champion tiller on my farmstead. And the first scenario is when breaking new ground. And when you're prepping a new area, you first want to mow or weed it down before you till, which I did here. Then after that, I came through with the Champion tiller to break new ground. When converting sod, weeds, or wild areas into productive gardening spaces, a tiller is extremely helpful in doing so. Tilling helps chop up roots, loosen hard soil, and can help incorporate organic matter like compost or aged manure into your garden spaces. And with tilling a space, it's like giving an area a fresh new start. Second scenario in which tilling can be beneficial is at the start of the season. Tilling can help jumpstart your season, especially in areas with heavy clay. Tilling can help open up the soil for spring planting. It breaks up crusted over surfaces and allows roots and water to penetrate. And it also can be helpful if you're prepping early for cool season crops, or you need to shape your beds for the new growing season. The third scenario in which tilling can be helpful is with compacted soil. Sometimes your soil just gets tired, compacted from foot traffic, rain, animals. And in these cases, tilling can open up things and give your roots the room to grow, especially for root crops. Now in this scenario, tilling isn't a cure-all, but it definitely can help aerate and get airflow in the ground to help that soil improve. And loosening up the soil also boosts drainage and promotes healthier microbial activity. And using a tool like a broad fork can help with aerating the soil, but in some cases with really compacted soil, using a tiller is even more beneficial and easier on the farmer, the gardener. This is definitely a spot that I could use a tiller in. Oh man. Yep. Look at that. The fourth scenario in which tilling can be helpful is with amending the soil. Amending it with fertilizer, manure, compost, rock dust, you name it. Whenever you want to amend the soil, blend those things in. Tiller can be really helpful with that. Tilling helps mix in soil amendments evenly, giving crops access to nutrients where they need them. Right there where the roots are going to be going in the soil. Not just on top, but in the soil. Another ingredient that I like to blend in is wood ash that we harvested from our wood stove over the colder months when we were keeping warm inside. Recycle those leftovers and put them into the garden to provide nutrients for those plants during the growing season. And the fifth scenario in which tilling can be helpful is with encouraging dormant seed growth. Yes, tilling does stir up dormant weeds, which can be aggravating, but it can also be really beneficial if you are trying to do so. If you have areas where you want vegetation to grow more and encourage that growth, like a pasture area, bald spots in the pasture area, or wherever, tilling can help activate or bring those seeds to the surface more, so that way those areas can grow. And in cases where you don't want this to happen in your garden, when you allow those seeds to germinate, to start and grow, you can come back through there with a flame weeder or a tarp, cover them up, smother them out, and they will die. But in other cases where you want that to come up, maybe say for your livestock, it can be beneficial and you can just let them grow. And this season it's been so nice to not have to borrow or rent someone else's tiller, but I have my own, and it's a champion, and it does a great job. And for those of you who may be wondering, Mike, you look kind of strong, you can handle that, but I'm not sure if I can. Well, my teenage daughter, I showed her how to use the tiller as well, and she was able to prep this bed without a problem. All right, this is the controls. Press this down for forward. Press this one down over here for reverse. I like how it has the pictures on there. Tell you step by step what to check and how to start this thing. All right, it's a lot more power than you used to, but you got it. All right, go ahead and give it a little go. Doing a pretty good job. We got this.
I didn't know what to expect at first with using the tiller. It was pretty heavy, but it was much easier than trying to break stuff up by hand.
Yeah, using a broad fork and trying to do it by hand definitely would take longer, right?
Yes.
Now, before I end this video, I first want to mention real quick about the types of tillers. You have your front tine tiller and you have your rear tine tiller, which is the one that I got. Front tine tillers are tillers with tines in front of the wheels. These tillers work best in tight areas as well as areas where the soil is already somewhat loose or has already been worked, and can be better for people on a tighter budget. The pros are they're lightweight and easier to maneuver and use. They're more affordable, and they're great for shallow cultivation and mixing in compost. But the cons for a front tine tiller are they can struggle in hard, compacted soil. They're harder to control in deeper tilling, and you physically have to do more of pushing and stabilizing the tiller. Now, the rear tine, like the one I have, has the tines behind the wheels. These are best for large gardens, gardens with clay and compacted soil. They're self-propelled, meaning less effort on you. They can till deeper and more aggressive, and best for breaking new ground. And the cons for the rear tine tiller are, well, they are heavier and more expensive, and not ideal for tight turns or in very small spaces. Well, there you have it. I handled that controversial topic, and whether you decide to till or not to till, that is your choice. You're not going to be getting flack from me, whatever you decide. But for those of you who are considering getting a new tiller like I just did, check out the Champion. I'm really liking it. See you next time.